One thing that you guys might not know about Pranam, that he also started a club in college. And what was one of the key things that you felt you needed while in college that you make sure you implement today at the college level?
Yeah. Well, when we think about how we were designing our platform, the things that kept coming up were the same problems that I had,
Right.
which was the issues around getting some funding in an easier way. Like when I was starting my student club, it was an investment club at my alma mater, Endicott College, and it was an investment club that we wanted to go to Wall Street. You know, someday we wanted, because the school is near Boston, we wanted to take the field trip to go to Wall Street, but we could never get the money to do it,
Right.
like not even close.
Right.
So you're relegated to try things like, let's sell credit cards, or like let's do a bake sale, and it just ends up being like, you don't want to do things that really your club doesn't support and you don't feel good about.
Right.
So that was, you know, critical as a club leader. But then when you try to reach out to companies as a student club leader, it's hit or miss. There's so many times that you don't hear back from a company because, not because the company's not interested, but they just don't have the resources or the time to go and speak to your club, to sponsor your club. So you're on this inefficient, like, back and forth cycle, company and student club. And so if we can make that much more efficient, that connection between students and student clubs and the companies,
Right.
then we're doing, you know, a service. And that existed when I was there, and it was a problem. But now with Door of Clubs, we're solving that, and we just continue to build off those two key things.
Well, since the founding of Door of Clubs, what was some of the hardest things to get it to where it's today? Finding funding, people to pay and help fund a lot of these programs, and who are some of your largest sponsors? Who are the companies or people who help you get from take a club that has no kind of, you know,
Right.
doesn't have a budget, to a club that can actually do things and provide, because everything costs money. And how do you get there? How does that happen?
Yeah. So some of the harder things getting going were, of course, getting those first companies that wanted to get involved with something like this, because you're so unproven.
Yeah.
So when you're a startup company, there's a lot of risk when you are being evaluated for
Right.
whether a company should work with you.
Right.
They have other solutions that they're already using, and they're wondering, should I take a bet on this young company that really hasn't proven anything yet? And so to do that, you know, you really have to adjust things like low cost. You have to make sure that you're dealing with the right people. You need to make sure that you're prepared very well. Even if it's not built out from a tech standpoint, you have to have at least the roadmap of how it's going to go. Great design, like that all needs to instill confidence, because the big issue is that they're seeing you as a risky bet.
Right.
So that was, you know, initially to just get our first customers on. And now it's, you know, the more social proof that we get, the easier it gets. But, you know, you also want to make a bigger impact. So when it comes to companies, if you're working with certain departments, you know, they don't value tools or products if they're not spending much time or effort or resources or money on it. So as we climb like the relationship aspect with the company, they want to be able to work with us on larger levels, and so do we.
Right.
So now it's about how do we get to the next level and make a bigger impact
Right.
for the company.
That's important. I value all those things. What about the clubs? What about the? Sorry, I'll clip that out. I'll clip that out. When it comes to certain types of clubs, which ones are more important? Do you find the ones that are based around your career as more important? Do you find the ones that are based around things you like, hobbies,
Right.
or sports? I'm sure there are a lot of running clubs. Which ones do you find more important to the student?
Yeah, that's a really good question,
Right.
because that's something that you might think as a student, does it matter what type of club I join? Is it going to give me an upper hand on getting an opportunity in life? Is it going to teach me different things? And what we focus on is just that we just want to support and help build those places that are an outlet for your motivation.
Right.
So no matter what, the common thing between all clubs is that you take initiative. You are motivated. You want to do more to grow outside the classroom. No matter what you're in, a dance club, a sport club, an engineering club, a business club, you all have that one thing in common. You just want to grow outside the classroom. You want to do the extra things to learn, to take initiative, to expand. And that, at the end of the day, is what matters most. And that's what translates into, you know, there's a lot of books and studies that go on now about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And having a growth mindset is a key factor in how successful you'll be. What is a growth mindset? Growth mindset is really just you are learn-it-all, you will learn it all, versus you are a know-it-all. Mm-hmm. And know-it-alls don't get far because they don't have that open mind where they can learn things. The learn-it-alls, on the other hand, is they can achieve so much because they come up to obstacles and they say, how can I get around this? You know, how can I learn how to get around this? So it's just that common, you know, mindset that's a part of clubs that we support, and we want to improve and create more resources for.
Right. Before we got out of here, my next question to you is, what does Door Club see to do in the future? What are some of the things that you see are missing today that Door Club sees to solve and fix for the coming years?
Yeah. So the future of Door of Clubs really needs to go in the direction of deepening the value for students in clubs. Like we know that clubs are the thing that we care about,
right.
and we believe that clubs will save the world.
Right.
Because they have the students, again, like you, who are taking the extra time. You're building yourself to be a leader of tomorrow. How can we create something that supports you deeper? And that might be things like community. It might be ways where you can go and follow other clubs around the country that are similar to yours, that you can learn what they're doing in their events. You can connect with them. You can come together for co-events. You know, you can just continue to find ways to build with other motivated students like you, because then you're going to create more and more opportunities, and more students are going to join on because you're creating that movement. Right. So I would also like to add, I would like to ask you a question is, you know, you're such a sharp young guy. You have so many good things going for you. You do so much outside the classroom. Right. You are working on blockchain, the future of, you know, technology, all these things that are pushing the edges for everybody else. What is the thing that motivates you?
Mm-hmm. There are certain things that motivate me. One of them is family. Being from an immigrant family, you see I saw actually a T-shirt on social media the other day that said, "I am my grandparents' wildest dreams." You know,
I love that.
That's something that to me I hold dear to me, and you know, the feeling of achievement after you set your mind to something, you accomplish it, and you say, "All right, what's next?" And then if you're addicted to that, no matter what, you'll find something else to find an answer to. But thank you for the question. This has been Next Gen Innovators with Pranam. This is our first interview. My name is Robert Story, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. All right, have a good one.